School. School. I got it from an Etsy shop. I need to figure out the name of the Etsy shop. This is the second time I've ordered from them. I like their stuff. I used to make shirts myself, fun fact. But I haven't done it in a while. I got rid of all my shit when I moved. What time is it for me? 10:35. Yeah, school is still a thing. Where did I get this choker? Oh, Target, actually. I got it at Target. It was like one of their New Year's things. And this curly hair thing is like post bath hair, so I didn't do anything to it. I went to sleep with it wet, and this side is more curly than this side, but whatever. It doesn't go with what you're wearing. It goes with what I'm wearing because I wanted to wear it with this, so it goes. I don't know why anyone thinks it's their opinion to say if my necklace doesn't go with my shirt. I could wear my fucking ghost necklace. And if I'm comfortable wearing this with my raccoon shirt, then it goes with what I'm wearing. Like, it's so strange to me. What does my shirt say? It says cute, but I'll fight you. All right, let's see. Hello.
Oh,
Hi. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Hey,
What was that?
I said, what's up?
Nothing really.
Okay, why'd you join? All right.
Hearing you
Alright.
that, I look like shit. I literally just fucking woke up. But oh well. This is what it is, TikTok.
I said, what's up? And then I said, why'd you join? And then they dropped. Poker is too high. You guys are so weird.
What's
Glitching, lag, freezing. It's just a stupid TikTok thing. It's weird to some people. I don't know why.
I know it
Hello,
was
please. You have a lot of background noise.
Hey, am I in here?
You are in here,
you
yeah.
are
Oh, how's everybody doing?
Okay, how old are you?
Oh, I am old. I'm like 60.
Okay.
Yeah, and I wanted to jump on. I wanted to tell you guys that, yeah, I'm a boomer, 60 years old, and I am in full support of the LGBTQ
Oh, that's
that's a
entirely.
relief. Thank you.
I
That's a
know,
relief.
right? Coming from a boomer.
Yeah.
Coming from a boomer, right? I mean, their way of thinking is all old school and never changing. And it's just terrible what is going on right now in the country with all this, just all these attacks on anybody who doesn't believe what certain people believe. And in this case, we're talking about, Christian faith or, their idea of what America should be. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So
sure. All right.
so it's sad, we have these young people who are amazing and who are fighting for things like Palestine, and then you have the radical Christian right coming out and slamming these students who are protesting. It's their right to protest, and the mindset is we stand with Israel. They don't even know why they stand with Israel. It's just a thing in their faith.
A lot of people don't know why they're doing anything, honestly. I have less than an hour, so I am looking for opposition, but thanks for coming out.
Awesome, bud.
Yeah.
I just wanted to pop in. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank
Love you
you.
guys. Love you guys. Keep fighting the fight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, you guys, I'm gonna reset real quick because of the stupid lag. It hopefully will fix it. I'll be right back.
Maybe I should brush my teeth.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Thank you.
All right, let's try this again. You guys, is it better? Is it still glitching? Is it being weird? Yeah, so the way the glitching thing has been working is when I add someone, it starts glitching. So let's see. Let's see if it does. Or you guys, I only have 50 minutes and it's going to be really short live.
Hello,
Hi, how old are you?
26.
All right, let kids be trans.
Okay, so what is your exact position with it? Do you mean like literally?
Do I mean literally? Yeah.
Okay, so do you think it's okay for an undeveloped brain to decide what their gender is prior to
So,
having a full? Go ahead.
so here's the thing: being trans is not like it's not a choice. It's not a decision that you're making. It's literally the way that your identity develops in your brain, and that happens as children. So yes, if a child is transgender, they need to be supported. Period.
Okay, so if they identify as transgender, let's just say there's another person who, I don't know, maybe identifies as woman and their sex is male. The kid goes into their bathroom and gets harmed. How do you think that should be an okay thing?
If people are committing crimes, that's not okay ever. I don't know.
For anybody.
No, I didn't say the crime was okay. I'm talking about the kid who maybe is a female, but identifies as male, goes into a male bathroom, and gets harmed.
Well, it's less likely that they would get harmed in a man's restroom than a woman's if they identify.
Well, the likelihood I would say is irrelevant. It can still happen. It would be more of a prominent thing to happen if they do identify that way as a young child.
Well, you can't prevent a child from being trans, so I don't know what your point is. Like, children who are transgender have to use a bathroom, so...
Yeah, but I believe it would be safer for them to use the sex that they were born with.
I mean, it might be safer just because, like statistically, being around cis men is more of a risk for people. So that might be true. But if a trans boy needs to use a public restroom, that's the restroom that they're going to use. Unfortunately, there is a risk, but the risk is on the trans person. So I don't know what your point is. Like, just not let them go to the bathroom. That's kind of harmful.
And statistically, it is much more likely that a trans girl will be harmed in the men's restroom. So,
well, all right, so let me go down this route. Do you believe that their brains can be cultured into believing that they are trans at a younger age? Do you believe that's more probable because their brains are more malleable at a young age?
No,
No, that hasn't been proven to be true at all.
if that worked, then there wouldn't be transgender children. They would be cisgender, because typically transgender children are treated like cisgender children that is not their identity. So if you could just influence them that way, then they just would be that way. Like my daughter, for instance, was assumed to be a boy and was treated as a boy in society. So if she could have been influenced to be a boy, she would just be a boy.
Okay, were they born male or female?
They were born male.
Okay, so they identify as female now.
As a girl.
Okay, girl, female. What age are they?
15. I don't know why that's relevant.
Okay. Well, we're talking about letting kids be trans, so I believe the age would be relevant, because I'm trying to get to a point to where
if she was 8, like I don't care. Like I still would have supported her if she was 8, 15, 5. I don't give a fuck.
So whether they're 2, 3, 4, 5, they can be trans in your opinion.
Did I say 2, 3, 4, 5? Did I say that?
Well, kid, right?
Right. So typically, if a child is that young, like they would just be expressing themselves, maybe more masculine or feminine than what people assume they should be, which is kind of stupid anyway. But
Well, I'm saying if they're like you're saying, like kids, right? It'd be all inclusive. Doesn't matter if they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Right? They're kids.
sure.
Hypothetically, yes. If a kid can recognize their gender and they can communicate it effectively at 5 years old, then yes, they would be trans.
Okay. Well, from my point of view, which I hope you understand, is that a child's brain is more susceptible to influence, right? Whether it sounds
Sense. Like, did
How
you
so?
see my example, right? If a child could just be influenced, my child specifically, and many transgender children are treated as a gender that is not aligned with in their brains. So as a child who was assigned male at birth and treated as a boy, wouldn't she have just been influenced to be a boy?
I would assume so. I mean, either way, the influence is there.
There is no influence.
She's a girl, dummy. That's the point. She's a girl.
Oh, now I'm dumb. Okay, that makes sense.
She was, because you're not even following. Like, this is what happens a lot in this conversation, right? We try to explain what being trans is, and people have such strong opinions about influence that you're not even following what I am saying, right? She was assigned male at birth and assumed to be a boy for 13 years. She was treated as a boy, assumed to be a boy, used a boy name, he, him pronouns, expressed herself as a boy. If she could have just been influenced to be a boy, wouldn't she have just been a boy?
Well, that's not necessarily true.
But that's what you just said. That's your theory. That you
I'm
can
saying that
influence
yes,
a person's identity.
Yes, I said that you can be influenced, but not everybody is going to be, right? Not every single instance is going to be where some. All right, I mean, if I can finish a sentence, that'd be great.
Go and try.
Okay, so not every single person can be influenced, but the influence possibility is there, right? It doesn't matter if you were born as a male, born as a female, and say 13 years, whatever, you were told, hey, say for example, they're a female, right? Okay, you're she, her, you know, this whole time. They can choose to stay that way, or they can choose something else, right? But I'm still saying they can be influenced. Okay.
How would they be influenced by what?
Say they're around a group of people who are trans, right? And they okay.
First of all, there are not groups of all these trans people going around. The population.
That's why it's called an example.
Right, but what, your example doesn't exist. Like the population of trans people, especially trans kids, is so small. Like, our trans kids don't have a gaggle of trans friends. Like, it's very rare if they even meet one at school.
Okay, so you can, but you can agree it exists, correct?
No,
You said it. Well, your friend here just said that the chance isn't high, right? Like, but it exists.
The whole whole point is these ideas that children are being influenced to be trans is just silly. These ideas that there's groups of trans people recruiting other trans kids in, like, it's just
I
not,
didn't say that. I did not say that.
just not a thing. It's not a thing.
I didn't say there were legions of trans groups over here trying to recruit people. I did not say
You
that.
said when they're with a group of trans friends. Where are second
Yes, for
graders?
example,
Where do second graders have these groups of trans friends? Like, where are these people? I'm confused.
I don't know where they're at. I don't follow every group of
So
trans
that's
people. I'm not saying it was an example that you blew up out of
We're
proportion.
trying to get you to critically think, right, and have an understanding about this, that trans people are so rare that typically if there's a trans child, they are a single child in that school, right?
They're the only person. Is that what you're saying? The only trans?
Yeah.
Statistically, it's a very, very low amount, especially kids who are out.
Okay, and you can trust a statistic where not every single person would be reported, correct?
And especially at that same age range, right? There could be a child a child that's in first grade and maybe a child that's in high school or maybe a child who's in middle school. Like, but the chances of them all being around the same age range and like bringing each other in, this whole idea of being influenced to be trans is ridiculous. That's the whole point.
Okay, hold on. Okay, let me capitalize on that. So, do you believe that anything on the media or say movie, whatever, say an idea gets introduced to them that is a trans idea, right? Say they see that. Do you believe that can influence them or no? Yes or no?
But have you seen anything positive?
That is insane.
Have you seen anything positive about the trans community in the media, especially when geared towards children?
Anything positive in the trans media towards children?
No, in the media, not trans media. Have you seen anything positive about the trans community geared towards children in the media?
Don't believe so.
Yeah.
So where's this influence?
There really isn't any. So again, like, what would make a kid want to sign up to be trans?
Well, that you saying that all inclusive as if it's not there, I would think is not really based.
Okay, because here's the thing, right? This is the entire point. Gender identity develops in your brain. It is just who you are. If you are trans, you are trans. That's how it works.
That's not a solid fact. That is not a solid fact.
It literally
So you're saying that your brain cannot change to where you now accept a trans identity?
No, you cannot. You cannot. You're not just.
You're saying that you are born
not being
you're born
influenced.
trans and it cannot be influenced at all.
No, it's just the way you develop.
Yeah.
It's not influenced at all. No.
Okay, so nothing that you can watch, nothing anybody else on this planet can tell you as a child would ever influence you to be trans, right? Tell me that for a fact.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Sure.
okay. The conversation's over. You just killed yourself.
Okay. Okay.
Where's your proof, dude? Prove it.
Like you can indoctrinate kids to believe things like that are not internal. Like you can indoctrinate kids into religion. You can lie to children and tell them that Santa is real. You can do all of those things. But when it comes to their internal sense of self, you cannot lie to them and somehow mold their internal identity.
They can suppress their identity.
Yeah.
They cannot have a full understanding of it, but it's still there. And what can happen, right, which is not influence, is a child can see someone like themselves. They can see positive representation, or they can have an understanding of what being trans is and go, oh my God, that's me.
Right.
But it's not, oh, I want to be that. They're very different things. This is not misinformation, so I don't know. Wild.
Oh, hi, Tanner.
Hello, Tanner.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hold up.
I don't have a lot of time. We're speeding through these guests today. So, Tanner,
All right.
How old
so
are you?
When you say,
Tanner, how old are you?
Hey, Tanner.
how old am I?
Yeah.
Does that play a role in what you guys are going to think?
Tanner.
Answer the question.
20?
What year were you born?
2004?
What month?
Why does that matter?
Okay. That's a red fucking flag, dude.
Hostile. Mel literally said she has a time limit, and he refused to answer a basic question. So,
Hi, everybody.
Hi, how old are you?
I'm 28.
Cool. All right. What's up?
Yeah, I just want to know if it's so rare for kids to be trans, why do you have 2 trans kids?
Yeah, so I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Oh, but I thought it was really rare. Isn't that
It's
weird?
really rare. And you can have multiple rare things happen. I don't know.
people, having triplets is rare, but people do.
Right. So it's not indoctrination at all. It's not.
No, you want to
It's
tell
not
me
for
how
views.
I somehow influenced my kid to use some fucking pronouns? Like,
It's not for views and money on this.
absolutely
Oh, yeah.
not.
It's not to
race
gain
in the house.
popularity
Makes like
and to
$1
feel better about
every
yourself.
Popularity? Are you fucking kidding me? I could be
Yeah.
doing way better things than advocating for trans kids, like in jeopardizing my mental health.
Oh, you do?
But okay, you can.
Like what?
I don't know.
Next.
You. I said I could be doing other things. I don't know if you can listen, right? And again, one of my kids is binary, right? And I do think that being trans is going to be more common in the future because again, people are going to realize that they're not on the binary. That their identities are going to be all over the place.
Hello?
Fucking wild.
Hi.
Hey, I'm 20.
Cool.
Nice.
So, I heard you earlier. You said you do these live streams for fun?
No, that's not what I said.
No, you did. You said, unfortunately, it's for fun. Someone asked you, do you work? And you're
No,
like,
that's not what she said.
okay, what'd you say?
Oh, earlier, yeah, I said, somebody asked me if this was my job, and I said,
Oh.
unfortunately, I do this for fun, right? It was kind of like sarcasm.
So, see, everything gets blamed
As in, I'm not doing this for money, I'm not doing this for a job. That's what I said, so.
So, why would you say, unfortunately?
Because it was sarcasm.
See, everything gets blamed as a joke or sarcasm
Does
whenever.
anybody want to talk about the topic? Like,
No,
come on.
you know what? If you guys want to go like talk to somebody about why you don't like them, go talk to Tashika. She's running around.
I know she's running that topic right now. It's fucking weird. And the shit that people said to her, like, it's disgusting.
It is disgusting. Honestly, I don't think my mental health could take what she's doing. I applaud her.
No. You could have some fake ass skin. People in here are fucking disgusting and they say the rudest shit. And the people usually who are the loudest, like they don't come up and put on their camera so they can get criticized.
Hello.
Hello, how old are you?
29.
Nice.
Sweet. Let kids be trans.
So why is it okay for them to make that decision, but we wouldn't allow them to make other decisions?
Because it's
What
not a decision.
Would you let your kid get a tattoo?
It's not a decision. It's not a decision
It's not a decision.
that someone decides. It's not something that they choose. That's why. It's literally who they are. So you as a parent could choose to support your kid or not. That would be the decision. And I think if you choose to not support your kid, you're a piece of shit.
So you're going with like the surgery route and all of that?
No.
What do you mean? What do you mean the surgery route? Because this is
You don't
interesting.
have to
Because
have-
everybody brings this up. What do you mean?
Okay, so you explain to me what you're saying, so I know.
You don't have to have surgery to be valid as a transgender person. I don't know if that's what you think, but that is incorrect.
Even transgender adults, only about 12% have bottom surgery. That's it.
So are you saying like your daughter feels like she's a boy, so we just go with it? Is that?
You're confused.
I don't even understand, like,
Right. I have a transgender
Okay, so
son.
explain it then. You got people
Mel-
here that don't even know what you're
Okay.
like saying by it.
that's what's
So
so frustrating. is people
I
have,
have a
strong
transgender
opinions.
son, right? So born female. Mel has a transgender daughter, born male.
How does that work? How do you,
They develop that way.
at what age would this start? Oh, I believe I'm a,
It's not
Okay,
about,
yeah.
oh, I believe, it's not a belief, right? So believing in something is choosing, well, you can, I don't know the word I'm looking for. You can choose to believe something without evidence, without any facts to back it up. This is not a belief. There are facts.
your child at that point, about 5 years old or whatever, is choosing. They have no idea what's going on.
No.
And you're
So-
allowing them to believe, hey, you are a girl. It's okay.
So throughout childhood, their brains are constantly developing, and the part of the brain that starts to develop their gender identity starts to form around like 3 years old. So is it possible for a 4 or 5 year old kid, or even a 3-year-old kid? It's rare, but is it possible
so
for them to be able to tell you
if your
what their
child,
gender is? Yes.
if your 5-year-old believes that he's 21,
It's not a belief.
okay, your 5-year-old knows in his
No,
heart
a
that
5-year-old
he's
does not
21 years
develop
old.
into a 21-year-old, right? Because
no,
that's
but
literally
you-
measured.
You're
It's
going by
literally
delusional
measured.
theories, so it's all delusional. If your
No,
5-year-old thinks
it's
he's
not. That's
21,
not what delusional means.
Oh my God.
That's a lie. That's really funny. I mean, just people take a basic class. You know, it's
Seriously.
hello.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, how old are you?
Sure can.
I'm 37.
All right.
Nice.
Okay, so I have actually been wanting to join a live on this topic. Okay, let me say that I have 4 children. They're all, they're 13 and up. I, at one point, believed that what most people believe, oh, well, they don't know. It's pushed on them because the parent wanted one gender and got another. However, a couple of years ago, my child, who is 15, and I have spoken to them about, talking about their story, and they're like, yes, absolutely. So my child came out about probably 2.5 years ago is bisexual. I was like, okay, fine. Well, a little while later, it was, Mom, I think I'm pansexual, and I was like, okay, cool, whatever, love who you want, I don't care. And then about a year ago, my child was like, Mom, and it was very, very difficult. More for Dad, which we are not together. It was more difficult for Dad because Dad is very old-fashioned. No, this is what you were born. This is what you are. And even now, he's still very negative about it, but tries to, put on a front to our child. But my child is transgender, female to male. And again, I've been given 100% permission for everything. They're at school right now, but pronouns are he, him. And when we first discussed it, I said, it may take Mom a little bit to get there. And he was like, that's fine, Mom. I understand you were used to this for so long. I get it. I'm not mad at you. And the more that I talk about my child, the more it is easier. It's becoming easier for me. And, I'm very accepting of my kids. I said, I want you to be who you are. Find who you are. I don't care if it's, what you were not born as. You be who you are. And he is very outspoken. He is not afraid to be himself. He wanted to cut his hair off all the way down, past it was probably almost to his butt, and he was like, "Mom, I want to cut my hair off." Dad was like, "No, you're not cutting your hair off." And I'm like, "Dude, her hair," because at the time it was her. I said, "Her hair will grow back." And so we cut it off, and I'm telling you, just it looks amazing. And I was actually talking to someone last night about my son, and the more, like I said, the more I talk about it, the more it is, becoming easier to break out of that that routine of my daughter, her, and that is my son.
Yeah, it just takes practice sometimes.
Yes, and like I said, we've talked about it, and he gets it now. And when he was born, his government name is Alexia.
Okay, hold on. I know that you are trying to support your kid, but I just do want to make sure that you should never dead name, right? So never talk about the birth name, and then when you refer to him in the past, also use he him pronouns.
Yes. Okay, I got you.
Even though it's the past, yeah.
And see, I am looking for any kind of advice, any kind of help that would help me to, support him.
Right. I used to do the same thing. I didn't know. I used to interchange like he and her in the past, and I didn't get that either. And then it was explained to me, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, and it clicks because for the trans person, it comes off one way. What that kind of language is like to satisfy everybody else, like the cis people and the people who don't understand.
Right.
So it's a learning curve. There's a lot to learn, and that's fine.
And it is, it just it takes time, and he is 100% okay with, it taking mom that time. And I just, I've always told him, I said, I will support you 1,000%. I don't care. And I will, I've always been an open-minded person, a non-judgmental person, but it's gotten to where now I am more, I come into defensive mode when people do start talking negative about that stuff. And I'm like, no, back up. Whoa. First of all, what this person does with their life does not affect yours. So why do you even have, a leg to stand on?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, question. Are you in a state where you have access to gender affirming care?
I don't know. I have not. I've been going to school and work, so I haven't had a lot of time to do a whole lot of research, and I'm trying to get anybody, anything to help me, point me in that direction. And as far as surgeries, he does not want the bottom surgery. He does want top. But
that's way in the future. I wouldn't even bring that up. So my son's 16. My son's 16. He's been, like, I guess you would say, like, out, right, since I'm like first grade. That still hasn't even been a discussion that's even come up, right? Like we are talking about top surgery because he's 16, almost 17. But this is recent. So just like take a breath. You're fine. Like just take it step by step. The only reason I was bringing it up was possibly looking at therapy. Like therapy is the first step of gender affirming care. So like in some states, especially in the South, there's a lot of states where that access has been taken away. So even being able to see a therapist is not possible in certain states, but that's where I would recommend starting out getting support. It's just therapy. And like that's good advice across the board for everybody, right? But especially with trans kids, to be able to unpack this, because as cisgender parents, we don't know what the fuck is going on, right? We don't know what's going on in their head. Right. We're trying to support them, right? The best thing is to get a really good support system from the very beginning. Get as much information you can. Start with therapists. Mel has a lot of resources on like websites that you can go to and you can read up on and learn about. And I would absolutely look into that depending on the state that you're in. Like Texas, no, you cannot see a therapist for gender affirming care for a trans kid. Let's say all the other states in the South where it's banned right now.
I'm in Arkansas.
Arkansas might not be good.
Let Mel look it up and we'll see.
There's a lot of things that our governor is trying to ban.
Oh, really?
And make rules on.
Yeah, Mel had to move a year ago. She was living in Texas and getting her kid therapy, and it was the bans started to be proposed, and she had to move to a different state, to a sanctuary state, so her daughter could continue seeing the therapist and then seeing the endocrinologist. So yeah, unfortunately, like there's a lot of kids in these states where it's been banned and they're not able to access care, whether it be an endocrinologist for hormones, for blockers, or even just therapy. Like people don't realize that yes, the therapy has been banned in a lot of states, which is ridiculous. Like these kids need as much support as possible.
Arkansas is a high risk state with risks of worse banning within the next 2 years.
Right.
So right now you're probably okay, but it's probably going to get worse.
Yeah.
Right. So
I would
I would definitely try to access the care as soon as possible to get him something before it gets banned.
Okay. We actually do see, he actually has a therapist that he sees on a monthly basis, but we just found out they are leaving the facility where they've been, not sure where they're going to, so we have to, we have another therapist that we are seeing Monday that worked under that therapist, and that was, and it's not just for the transgender, it's a lot of things that he has going on.
Right.
And
sometimes a lot of those things, not necessarily, right? Because you can have other life events, but a lot of the things that these kids can go through can just be related to them being transgender. Like literally depression, anxiety, all of these things can be related to gender dysphoria. That's why a gender dysphoria diagnosis is, if that's something that your child is suffering with, is a really good thing to have.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just finding a therapist who is like LGBT friendly and informed.
Right.
And just starting from there, because that a lot of the depression, like Mel said, the depression, the anxiety can be the underlying factor is the gender dysphoria, and that's just kind of what people are seeing first is like the depression and the anxiety, not realizing where it's actually coming from.
That makes sense.
So it's very intertwined.
Yeah, and a lot of times it does have to do with puberty. It has to do with, changes in the body. Like you said, if he already recognizes that, he does want top surgery, that probably means that the breast development is something that does cause dysphoria. So at 15, probably
he'll be 16 in about 6 months.
Yeah, so it's probably too late for puberty blockers, I would think, unless puberty really late.
It's definitely too late for those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then if they get to any point where they, or if he gets to a point where the hormones would be recommended for him, he would have to have 6 months of therapy before that. That's why we're saying to get these things started, because there is a process.
Okay.
You can't.
So glad
you can't just suddenly say, "I want testosterone" and get it. Like it's not going to work.
Right.
Yeah. So start the therapy now, as soon as possible.
All right. Awesome. I really appreciate the advice, and I will do some research and look into getting that therapy started. And I will, talk to him and let him know what I have found out today and all that.
Sure.
Yeah,
and what websites do you think are the best, Mel?
Yeah, I was going to say one of the best ones probably for a parent is the trevorproject.org. It's just the name Trevor, the trevorproject.org. There's some resources on there about gender identity, and there's things, it used to be called How to Be an Ally, but I think they changed the name of it now. Where basically talks about like how to refer to your child in the past. What we were saying, and it gives you some like deeper advice on certain things that you can say with your child, certain conversations that you can have can cause distress, and also not letting your child coddle you is a really good place to go. So when you're talking about support, when you're talking about like gendering him, him giving you time, things like that. Maybe if you feel like you need time, like don't necessarily put this on him, or at least regularly, because what it does is it can make your child feel like they are a burden to you, right?
Okay.
And that they're making this harder on you. Like their existence is making it harder on you. So
Yeah,
for
they'll
you-
internalize it.
yeah. So for you as a mom, try to focus on making it about him, right? That you're doing everything for him, not for yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. So the
Another really.
Go ahead.
Yeah, another really weird. It sounds weird, but so what grade is he? A sophomore?
Well, let's see. He starts 10th grade next year in August.
Starts 10th grade next year.
Yes.
Just finishing.
Okay. Is he doing PE in school?
I think they do have PE. And he likes to play the football with them and all that.
Right.
And we don't dare do girl stuff.
Right. No, just a piece of advice, because this is something that I went through, and I wish somebody had actually suggested this when my kid was like in elementary school, so I would have known. Because middle school was fucking hell, right? Like that was the worst, because he was using the boys' locker room and the boys' bathroom in middle school. But he was getting bullied, right? Basically. And then of course didn't want to tell me, didn't want to burden me with it. And then finally, when we got to high school and talked to the principal about it, they had the suggestion that he did PE in the summertime, which was a really good compromise. So every day when he would go to school, he wouldn't have to go to the locker room and change and do PE and then go change again to go back to class. But instead, they would do it in summer school. So you would come to school in your PE clothes, work out for 5 hours, and then go home in your PE clothes. So there was no locker room interaction whatsoever. That was a really great thing that I wish I had thought of, because right now we don't really have these things kind of like all figured out in public school. There's a lot of nuance to things that you don't really think about on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
So that's just my extra little tip. PE can be really hard on them, and so that's a way to get out of that. I'm trying to think of any other advice. That's all I can think of.
Too. Some kids are fine with things, right? So just so this is what it's called. It's called A Guide to Being an Ally to Transgender and Non-Binary Young People. That's what it's called.
Okay.
And
and absolutely, like your school might be great to where your son has no issue with PE bathrooms, anything like that, and that's fucking ideal, right? Every school should be that way,
right?
But for the kids where like the thought of locker rooms, because PE is mandatory in public school, because you have to do 2 years in high school, at least in California. So because it is mandatory for some kids, that can be a high stress situation. So anything that comes up like that, like, try to reach out to somebody, get some information about like what's an easier way to approach this to like minimize the stress level for your son. Because shit comes up all the time that you never thought of. And you're like, oh God, I wish I had thought about that before. I didn't know how to handle that.
Right.
And it happens. And like, give yourself grace when it does happen. Because I've done so many things where I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even think about that before. And then my kid's like having a horrible day because something. And I'm like, oh shit, why didn't I think about that first?
Yeah.
So it happens.
Right. Okay. Well, I really, really appreciate y'all, and I will definitely be looking up, that website and checking out the resources and stuff like that and doing some more research. But I'm going to get off here. I've got to get a shower and get ready for work. But I really, really appreciate y'all, and I wish more people were more open-minded about things and stop being so judgmental.
Yeah, so do we.
Yeah, good luck with everything.
Well, y'all have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Yeah, giving advice to parents is like really what we want to do. So yay for that. I mean, this is good for anyone to look into too, not necessarily for parents, because it just talks about, the differences between sex and gender, what's cisgender, transgender, non-binary. It has a two-sphere explanation, which I want to ask my friend to see if they think it's a good explanation.
Oh yeah, good idea.
Yeah. it talks about like perceived gender, different way, like how that can be like harmful. You know, and I just wanted to read this like little line right here, just because it's really important. Using names and pronouns, respecting the language that young people use to identify themselves is not only all right, I fucked that up. Hold on. I'm gonna do it again. All right, it's just like one line. All right. Respecting the language that young people use to identify themselves is not only polite, it can save lives. And this is not an exaggeration. I know people like to think this when we talk about these things. It is not an exaggeration. Literally, it can be so distressing for people to not see you who you are, that it can cause you to be internally suffering to the point of wanting to unalive yourself. It's a reality, and I know people don't like us to talk about it because you don't want to accept that it's that extreme, but it is. So, all right, now because we had such a long conversation, I only have like 10 minutes. So let's see who I'm going to choose. Yeah, Casey's getting another fucking tattoo. He's like addicted.
Another one today?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What is he getting today?
Oh, I don't know. Something with like skulls and fog, but the tattoo artist is gonna draw it on him, like the old school type.
Yeah, like freehand, right?
Yeah, so that's why I'm going with you, because I know that you're just gonna be like, whatever.
Well, and I told him yesterday, I emailed him and I was joking with him. Oh yeah, about the cats. And I was like, yeah, you love cats so much that your wife got a tattoo of one. And he was like, that's a good idea. Now I need a cat tattoo. And I was like, we all need one.
I know, he was telling me that.
He's addicted now. You can't just have one. They're like potato chips. Come on.
I'm still good with one, but it's only been like, what, 6 weeks?
Yeah, a month? Yeah.
All right.
3 months, I think. And then I think you'll get another one.
Choose you again.
Oh, wow.
Are you gonna say your damn age?
Well, you asked my age and everything, but yeah, you let these kids pick their gender
Your
at
real
the age.
age.
Okay, Tanner.
So
yes, that's not how it works. I know, and Tanner was crying in the comment section because he got muted the last time he was in here. So
what is happening is requests are jumping around, so I don't even know who I'm in here.
Yeah.
Man, you're famous. You had a long wait list.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. How old are you?
I'm 28.
Cool. What's up?
So, earlier in the conversation, let me just preface by saying that I'm just going to outline some things that sort of don't make sense for me, and then you can tell me how you guys square those things up from your view.
All right, we have 8 minutes, so.
All right, let's go.
Talk that.
So you said trans don't need surgery to be trans. Okay, I agree.
Trans people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do they need?
It's very individualized.
Okay, would it be fair then to say that it's an internal sense of self?
Your identity, sure.
Yeah. So the criteria that the necessary criteria to be categorized and classified as a woman under your view is an internal sense of self.
Great. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. And then, so like you guys said, not everybody shares the same sense of self, right?
Correct.
No?
Everyone's sense of self is different.
Okay. So if you accept a definition of woman that includes or that is predicated on an internal sense of self that is in constant flux, change, and variance between person to person, then I would see that.
But I subscribe to that category. As a society, we have named a category woman and womanhood, and that is the category that I subscribe to as a woman. Right. So I agree with that. Correct. But my experience of a woman, Mel's experience of a woman, completely different. But we still both subscribe to that same group. Sure.
Right. So the thing is that if the definition is pointing to an internal sense of self, and that's constantly changing between person to person, there's nothing consistent enough such that you can actually say that it objectively exists.
What?
So, for example, let me put it to you like this, right? all cis women have something in common, and that's the female body, right?
No.
I mean, cis women were assigned female at birth. Sure, that's what we.
No. Sure, yeah. The doctor saw the body and you know.
They literally
concluded that
observed
it's
the baby's genitalia. That's it.
Right. So
that only works for cis women, though.
right. So the objective referent in this case is the female body, right?
No.
No, because our gender identities. Okay, we were assigned female at birth, and our gender identities developed into a girl and then into a woman. That's the only thing that cis women have in common. Assigned female at birth.
Right.
Developed
So
into a woman.
right. No, I got you. Yeah. So the doctor's describing and referring to the body that he saw, right?
The genitalia, but who the fuck cares? Like, what is your
Okay.
point?
So in this case, the point is that we can look to an objective referent in the world, the female body, to determine what a woman is. But if
No,
you're
that's to
determining factors
determine
for
if
what a
they're
woman,
female. No, that's to determine sex. That's not to determine gender. Sex and gender are two
yeah, we'll
different
get to
things.
that. We'll get to that because I know you have.
Let's just fast forward. Let's
Because we
fast
have
forward.
5 minutes.
Yeah, sex
So,
and gender are not the same.
There's
thing.
right. So there's an objective
You don't have
referent.
to walk us through the questioning really slow. I know where you're going with this. Sex and gender are two different things. Being a female
Okay.
does not make you a woman. Subscribing to womanhood makes you a woman. That's it.
Right. The internal sense of self, which is relativistic and subjective, right? So there's no objective reference to it in the world when you define it as an internal sense of self, because it's always changing, right? So fast forward, since you want to fast forward, if sex has nothing to do with gender, why do you accept gender affirming care that involves bodily operations and biological intervention?
Because nobody says it has nothing to do with gender. We can't forget that we actually do live in a society, and typically people, a lot of times transgender people will want a body that aligns with cisgender, the cisgender identity on the binary that they identify with.
Which is predicated on the body parts?
What the fuck is your point here? I don't really give a shit about Phil Bros and like your stupid reasoning of trying to validate people. Like, what the fuck's your point?
That's quite a compliment. I'm not a Phil bro. I'm just trying to use like
Just like,
basic
what's the
logic.
bottom line, though? Because we're going
The
to
bottom line is that it seems, from my view, it seems a little contradictory.
Who the fuck? Who cares?
on.
Why the fuck do you care if someone who identifies as a woman wants boobs? Who the fuck cares? Who cares?
Well, I'm trying to tell you why, but you keep interrupting and deflecting.
Well, because we're in a rush here.
Yeah, I'm trying to get to it, but interrupting and deflecting doesn't speed up the
People
process.
just wanting to invalidate people because it's fucking fun for them. What do you
No,
get
it's
out
not
of
fun. This is. Do you care about the truth?
What do you get out of this? Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay. Do you care about being logically consistent in your views and your beliefs?
I'm not talking about beliefs. I'm talking about facts.
Okay. Do you care about being logically consistent with your facts?
Will you just fucking get to your point? Why
Okay, so
do you
I'm
care
assuming-
about any of this?
I'm assuming you do. So I value truth. You value truth as well. But it seems like you value politeness over truth. You value making someone feel good over telling them the truth. A male could never be a woman. See ya.
Bye!
You're gonna kick me now? Oh, I thought you were gonna kick me. You were reaching.
Gotcha moment.
You said
that's
yeah, I
your
thought I
bottom
was fucking
line.
leaving.
Yeah, you're just
what?
transphobic.
Thanks for wasting my goddamn time. Males can be women, right? Because they develop that way. And if you actually want the truth, you can look into how gender identity develops in the fucking brain as a child. Thanks for wasting my last 10 minutes of my life. Guys.
Like, you don't have to dance around the whole thing. Just come in and say, like, I'm transphobic. I don't think that trans people are valid. You can just say that.
Yeah, instead of trying to do this whole like fucking playing games.
Yeah, song and dance. Like, we already know where you're going with it. You're not the first one to say this. It's not original. It's not original at all. Will you be back tonight? I know Mr. Mel's playing hockey.
Yeah, probably like evening. I have to go with him to get his tattoo. Well, not
Oh, yeah,
get
that's
his
right.
tattoo, but to like monitor the tattooing process.
Right.
We're driving separately because then I have to get my one kid from school and then the other one's got therapy. So I have a lot of shit going on.
Okay. I know. Yeah, and my kid's coming over a little bit earlier, a lot earlier today because she's finally done with her lab class in college.
Do you think you'll end earlier? Because I know
that's what I was wondering. That's what I was wondering if she'd want to get back to the dorms earlier since she's coming earlier. I'm thinking so, but we'll have to see. Because last week she hung out. It was like 11:30, and then finally my son was like, "Do you know what time it is?" And she was like, "Oh shit, I need to get back to the dorms." So,
I guess it's
yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh my god, some of these comments are fucking terrible.
Mm-hmm. But it's been really bad today. Brittany would love to, but Mel's got to go. She's got.
There was something I just saw that I was going to respond to, but I lost it. All right, I gotta go.
All right.
Tasha's more important.
Bye.
All right, see you guys later.